Good morning. Here we go. Here's the daily, and you'll see why we had such a big bounce this morning. We were below the 200, we were below the lower Bollinger, and so obviously they started buying it up just because things were oversold. I didn't, there's nothing I want to buy in the NASDAQ, but hey, institutions don't care. Here we are. Here's the gap that they probably want to try to close. That would put us right up here at this trend line, 24,600, we'll call it. Yeah. Overall, we're clearly trending down though. Here's the weekly. Let's hide all that again. Yeah, I mean, this is breaking down. This has broken down on the weekly. You're broken down. I mean, you should come down here 23,500, we'll call it. And VIX, funny thing with VIX, I was telling my group, VIX hit my target and oil both hit my target. And that's when the market started reversing. So here we are. I expect VIX to drop down to probably about $26 right in here somewhere. And then rebound again. Let's look at the 5-minute. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Little drop, then rebound. Same thing with oil. And here I'll turn because oil tagged my trend line, my breakout line. And so now we have our decline. I don't think we close this gap. We could, but yeah, it would make sense, I guess. Sell it down to 90, but there's no reason for this to be dropping. Around 100 is about right, I guess. I thought this would take weeks, maybe up to weeks to play out, but it did it overnight. And that's why I hate time frames. Anytime someone asks me for a time frame, I say, I don't know. It could do it tomorrow or it could take weeks to play out. I just know where it's going. I don't put a time limit on it. That new oil was going up, didn't put a time limit on it. Turned out it was a day. All right. Let's look at the daily because we've clearly broken out. So now here's the problem with oil. Well, you broke out the long weekly trend line, but besides that, here's your 50 MA turning up. There's your 200. They're going to cross like this. See where these were? Look at that push that oil had. We're on a larger time frame, and look at the gap that we have to close still, and look where oil's at. I mean, this is going to get stupid. And again, this is why I have these stupid targets, and everyone said I was stupid for having them, but who's laughing now? $180, very real. I would say this year, but now also probably soon. And I have it as high as two something, 220, 250. Yeah, this is gonna hurt. But look at that gap that you've got to close here for this 50 to cross over the 200. And then we'll go to the daily. Look, you've just started. So again, going back to when this was bullish. Look, when you just started that turnover, you had a drop, sure, but then it just ripped. Which is, I mean, we just had a huge move. So they can manipulate it and drop it and do whatever. But this is going to rip higher. This green is going to rip higher. And so that's when you start dropping down to these lower time frames and you see this. Usually the moving averages never get too far apart from each other. Remember how far that green had to go on that weekly and how close they were on that daily? These lower time frames, they can get way stretched out. Now, whether or not that's going to happen today, I don't know, because it just had a huge move basically after hours. So I would tend to think this move is probably done for a little bit. That's a huge move. That hit a target, it hit a trend line. I mean, we could bounce all the way back down into the 80s and then come up. But the damage is done. All right. Now let's go to the Qs. Now, see, we haven't even. Oh, this isn't going to open like that. There we go. This has 589. How very odd. Because I have 583. That is strange. No matter. We're just starting to push up again. The upper expected move today is around 605. So that's all the way up here. This major resistance that we bounced off of Friday. Wouldn't that be hilarious? All this news and everything, and we go right back up and tag where we ended Friday. Yeah, they hate paying bears. They do. The market will go up just to prevent paying bears if there's too many of them. Yeah, this is hilarious. The 5-day moving average is 603, so I fully expect us to tag that. And if we're going to hit that 603, we might as well just hit this trend line, I would think. I would think 600 would be resistance also, as well as 595, but Uh, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not bullish on the Qs. I uh, Thursday, I started hedging everything, and Friday I was short. I I sent a message in the group for everyone to buy VIX. In fact, I think it was "Oh God, buy VIX" right before this meltdown. All right, that's the Qs. The lower is, I would expect this trend line right around 590. I would, yeah, I would actually be kind of surprised if 590 broke today. There's no news today or tomorrow. Um, no news, I mean, no numbers data released today or tomorrow. So there's uh, nothing to prevent the market narrative, I guess, which should be bad again, but the market the market will just go up if there's too many bears. So yeah, there's, like I said, I'm net short, but I'm a long net short, and I mostly use VIX. Okay, so there we go. The Qs, your 590 would be support, and your resistance is going to be all the way up there at, let's call it 604. Now, if we break this, should we get really bearish? Should they just start selling? And should we break 590? Then we'd go down to 580. I mean, that would definitely be in the cards. And overall, I think we get down into the 555. That was always my target. Should this turn, which it turned. So I expect to drop down into the 555 range. Okay. Let's take a look at some. Here's uh, some potash or chemical companies. These are, this is a sector that no one's really looking at, but they should. These are super, just, yeah, super bullish. And you see these blue and yellow lines here. This is, the blue is wheat and the yellow is corn. And I use those to track potash, because potash is fertilizer. IPI also, why it has a bigger run than these other groups, is they sell water and chemicals to oil companies in the oil field. So they'll run with oil, which is why they're doing this, and which is why I love them. But yeah. So, by the way, soft commodities, if the symbols for those are WEAT, wheat, and corn, CORN. Yeah, those are the ETFs for the soft commodities, and those are just going to go up. If you want to protect yourself from food inflation, there you go. Buy food. Here's IPI on the hourly, and you can see we've just been going, ripping. Nutrien, this is, I hate it. Why do you do this to me? Nutrien ripping, CF Industries ripping, ICL. This one is pickable at a bottom, although I don't. Let's make sure we have. Yes, definitely. Because we've held this low. We've held this low. And we're starting to turn. We have bullish divergence here between this low and this low. I like ICL group, especially you see it's already, it's up 5%. Yep. It's like, hey, I'm a chemical too. Mosaic is another one that just beaten down, hasn't gotten the lift that the others. LXU definitely has. Huntsman doesn't count. It's a different kind of chemical. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here. What's going on with Paramount? A little down. Okay. Iridium. Iridium looks okay. This is one of those ones that I think holds up. They're profitable. They have satellites. Their communications, worldwide communications. This is something that would hold up, I would imagine. And the chart supports that. I mean, it looks good. Sure, we can drop, but I think we go up. Again, look at this 50 wants to cross this 200 because this wants to be a bullish chart. So this is one of those stocks that I think could start pushing if we get. I don't even know if we need decent days in the market because I don't think the market's crashing. Clearly, it's not. I mean, look at it. Look how resilient it is from that drop. So the market's not crashing. It's just rotating. And it's going to rotate into companies like this that are profitable, that have use now. What it's going to rotate out of is your quantum. These are going to get whacked. I did not like how these rolled over and reacted. I don't trust I don't trust how they're sitting here and they haven't left this zone yet. I think it's going to drop back further. It's just a little drop. Yeah, something's holding these up, but there's pain coming in these. I think these need a larger drop. And unfortunately, I think also that goes for retail, which I have hedged out of my positions in retail. Abercrombie getting whacked. American Eagle getting whacked. Lost the trend line. Victoria's Secret, but see this, it's down into my buy range. I'm not going to buy it here because I don't want to pick at these yet. But that doesn't mean firms won't. Look at Gap. Look how Gap got destroyed. Ouch. Lost that trend line hard. Look at that. Destroyed off of it. So, but these have had pretty big runs since November. So I can see why they'd take profit off of these, especially in the conditions that we're in. The other one that's going to get whacked are uranium. That ETF is just does not look good. But some of these, like Lightbridge, this has no longer. I take it back. I take it all back. Yeah, this is completely going to break down. Probably down into the 7, 6s. And it's because these aren't profitable yet. The market is going to take its pound of flesh out of everything that's not profitable. And that goes for a lot of these miners and rare earths even. Even though they're going to be huge in the future, they're going to whack them right now. So you don't want to be in them, but you want to be watching these because this is where you want to be in the future. So like here we go. We're going to get beaten down 18 at least. Could go down to $11 to as low as $7.90, $8. So yeah, you could cut this in half. And look at your RSI here between your peaks. You look how low your RSI is. So this weekly should come down and reset down in below 30 and down into the 20s. We should get oversold on the weekly here. So I think we have a drop coming. However much pain it takes to get that oversold is what this will do. And that is a definite buy for me. Again, this is where I want to be in the future, but I am currently sold short this. I sold calls on this. I didn't sell my stock. I sold calls on them. And I'll show you. I was selling calls from April, like 15 calls. I sold some Leap 20 calls. I was selling these for almost $1,000. They were like 900 and something when I was selling them. So the way that works, if you don't know, I sell these for 900 and some dollars, and now I could buy them back for 600, and I keep the difference. So while my stock value has gone down, I keep money from selling the calls, if that makes sense to you. So that hedges my position a little bit because I've made money from selling the call. So the loss in stock value is not as effective. It's not as painful. And here's the new tech. This is the stuff that's not yet profitable. This is the stuff that I think they're going to take their pound of flesh from. And that's all relative because some of these, like FJet, for example, they may have already taken it all from this. This may be, see, that doesn't look bad. That looks very, very bullish here. AMP RPX, again, that's another one that's bullish. Unusual Machines, again, that's bullish. That's up 8% this morning. Excellent. Yeah, they're really choosy, hit and miss, and they want profitability and usefulness. Big Bear, not so much. Although look at that's going to get a good bounce here, I would imagine. Amy, that looks good. Planet Labs, these are the ones that, like Planet Lab, Rocket Lab, ASTS, they're the ones that are, they could go either way to me. This looks like an ascending wedge, though, like it wants to shoot down and then shoot up. But I don't know, because these are, I mean, everybody wants these. This is space, this is satellites, this is drones, this is everything war and internet and future just related. So they want these badly. Whether or not they crush them first, that's the question. And that's going to be your Planet Lab, Rocket Lab, ASTS, Starfighters, this F-Jet. These ones are a crapshoot, really. Iridium, I'd throw Iridium in with there. Here's Ionic. That actually doesn't look bad, but I think this gets sold. This doesn't look bad. Qubit, that looks like it's rolling over, down also. Rich Tech, that looks like it's rolling down. Quantum, that looks like it's turning down. Sunrun Solar, turning down. 3D Systems, they report today. Did they report already? They must have. And they must have liked it. Mikey likes it. Good. Get a bounce on that. Lightwave Logic, not so much. Let's look on the daily. No, and you've opened up, so I would expect that to come all the way down, at least 330. Here's your ASTS. Again, looks like you've turned down, so you could could be a false breakout, or you could hold here because it's got a nice bounce, nice looking bounce here. So if you hold this and then start turning up, we've got a different ball game. Again, my average for this is in the 20s. So I've sold calls on this also. I'm just waiting for it to play out, make its move. GSAT, I'll put this in with those Rocket Lab and ASTS and those also. And that's turning down. AAOI. This one looks like it's rolling over a bit. Look, we've got bearish divergence here. Again, it's so strong. They might not just crush it. Might take a while for this to drop, just like the markets. And it might not drop. This might go sideways until it picks back up again. Again, this is my averages in the 20s on this. And that's not it wasn't too long ago. So I have no interest in doing anything with this. This could drop or it could just chop along here. Iron dropping. I don't think this 200 holds. I think you drop down into the 18s now. Now, what does look great? Oil. Indo. Indo looks great. We've closed this cup. We've got our handle and we're moving up in the handle. We should break out of this. We should be in the 14s. And I'll turn my chart on. $10 next. And then 14. 10, then 14.20. Yep. Like this one. Because the less oil out of the Middle East than Japan and Korea and China and all those places need oil from somewhere else. And closest person's Indonesia. WTI offshore going crazy. One of my favorites. Look how this was just following this trend line. That's funny. Oh, look at that, up 30% for EONR Resources. Fantastic. Hooray us. That looks great. What's not to like? I think this could get up into the $2. I think is where I had it. $1.14, $1.08 first. So yeah. Here we go. GTE looking great. Yeah, this is where you should have been. PBR, EC, these have not broken out yet. These are still early in the game. EGY is another one. PBR. These have a lot of catching up to do. NOG. That's another one. And it's because they deal with gas also, natural gas. And here's the funny thing. Everybody's looking at oil and they're completely ignoring natural gas. Qatar is the number one exporter of liquid natural gas. So that's not happening. So natural gas is going to absolutely explode and no one's ready for it. Here's ET. This, I think, is getting ready. Look how these Bollingers are pinching all ever so slyly. Look at above the mid Bollinger. It's got this nice little hammer candle. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to spike up to $20 when no one's looking. And for ET, that's huge, if you don't know. Huge. This thing doesn't move a whole lot. except for lately it just goes straight up. But it does. I mean, it takes a long time for this to move. And I joke, don't buy this. It's a tax nightmare. I joke in my group for that reason that the people that buy this don't sell ever because it's a tax nightmare. But look at this. Here's your 1, 2, 1, 2, going up 3, 4, 1, 2. So now we should be shooting up into a 3 up here, 4, 5, and then that'll probably explode us. Yeah, look at this punching up. Natural gas is sneaking up on people, or it will. And that's where you get these Halliburtons that are down, Baker Hughes that are down, Schlumberger that are down, because they're waiting for the natural gas play to bust out. And that'll go with your OIH also. The Middle East is also disrupting their profits through there also. But that's just short term. They always... OIH is like the mafia. Win, lose, or draw, they get paid by the oil industry. So, yeah, it's just a little lull right now. I buy OIH when it's down. Just because it yeah. This is where it's at. Okay. See if anything's jumping out this morning in any sectors. Energy is up. Ooh, shocking. Gold is getting crushed. Miners, yes. The short on my miners is finally playing out. That was rough because they just refused to fall, and they still refuse to fall, actually. Look, they're getting, it says down 2%, but silver was down 4%. And these, just everything is resilient. Everything in this market is resilient. It's crazy. Oh, this is you, Amy. That shouldn't be right with those. Yeah, you have silver barely down now. Which makes me wonder, what are our metals doing right now? Silver's barely down. See, I don't trust this though. How it's sitting. A, B, C. I think this is just 3 waves up. So I think this is I think it's playing coy. I think it's gonna roll over down to 53. And the reason is oil. Oil is still traded in dollars. So they're going to sell the gold and silver that they've been accumulating because they need to buy oil in dollars. And why are they buying oil in dollars? Because where they're buying oil from now is America and American allies. And America conquered territories. So they have to buy them in dollars. So this war is quasi forcing it's not quasi. It's forcing countries to buy dollars so that they can purchase oil. They were buying gold and everything else because oil was open for different different currencies, but that's not happening now because it's all been closed down. All right, I'll stop my rambling here and close with the cues, see where we're going here. And this is about right. About 594. This range is where I expect us to open. This is the lower expected move for the day, which we've already achieved. So we're going to open right at that lower expected move, and the market's going to make them decide what they want to do. You want to put money at risk trying to go up to the 5MA at 603, or are you going to take risk off the table and just let the market drop? I already took risk off the table, so I'm a watcher. And yeah, and with that, be safe, be wise, be bold, and as always, good luck.